Dear students, in the last video we had discussed the short transmission line and the medium transmission line. To summarize it, we have studied that in short transmission line which is less than 80 kilometers, we ignore the shunt capacitance and we only consider the series impedance, which includes the resistance and inductance. While in the medium transmission line, which ranges from 80 kilometers to 240 kilometers, we consider the capacitance in the shunt branch along with the series impedance, which includes resistance and inductance. Then we have discussed the three different methods to solve the medium transmission line. These methods were nominal pi model and nominal T model. To continue our previous topic, we will study the long transmission line today. In the long transmission line, the line constants, which includes resistance R, inductance L and capacitance C, are uniformly distributed over the entire length of line. Now, in front of you is an equivalent model of a long transmission line. Here you can see that the impedances, either series or shunt, they have been divided into different sections, and the whole length is divided into n sections, where each section have line constant which is equal to 1 over nth of the total line, which means for each section the resistance will be R over n, inductance will be HL over n, while the shunt susceptance B will be B over n, and the inductance G will be equal to G over n. Next, these are the important points you have to remember while studying and understanding the long transmission line. The line constants are uniformly distributed over the entire length of the line. It means that the resistance, inductance and the capacitance are uniformly distributed over the entire length of the line. The resistance and inductance makes the series branch. The leakage impedance or the shunt impedance, which includes leakage susceptance B, and this leakage susceptance B is because of the fact that capacitance exists between the line and neutral, and leakage inductance G makes the shunt branch. It means that the shunt branch is consist of leakage susceptance and leakage inductance. The next point is the leakage current through the shunt admittance is maximum at the sending end of line, and it decreases continuously as we move towards the receiving end. And the value of admittance Y is G square plus B square under the root, which means admittance Y is equal to conductance square plus susceptance square under the root. To analyze the long transmission line, we have a rigorous method. According to this method, the layout of the method is in front of you in this figure. It is the sending end voltage, it is the sending end current, this is the receiving end voltage along with the load. Now, what we have to do, if the entire length of line is L, we have to take a length h from the receiving end. As you can see in the figure, this length from the receiving end, we have taken this length, and after this h we have taken a differential length dh. Now in the dh, our shunt impedance is ydh and our series impedance is zdh. Now the current which is leaving the section dh will be I, and the voltage after the section dh will be V. and the current which is entering the section dH will be I plus dI, while voltage towards the sending end will be V plus dV. From the figure you can see that the current I plus dI is divided at this node, and after this node the current which is going towards the receiving end is I. It means that this dI current has been divided in the shunt branch. Next you can see that the voltage V plus dV, this dV voltage is dropped in this region, in this section. Now we have to analyze this figure. As I have mentioned these different parameters, let's study what this parameter means. This diagram is basically a one phase to neutral connection of a three phase line with series impedance and shunt admittance of line uniformly distributed. Now if we consider small line of length, that is ds, which is situated at distance h from the receiving end, here we have V plus dV is voltage at end of elements towards sending end, I plus dI is current entering the element dH, and I is the current leaving the element dH. Z is the series impedance of line per unit length. Y is shunt admittance of line per unit length, and V is the voltage at the end of element towards the receiving end. Next we have to analyze this differential dH. From the small element dH we can see ZDH is the series impedance, Y into dH is the shunt admittance, and obviously dV will be equal to I into Z into dH, and from this equation we have dV over dH is equal to IZ. Next we have the current entering the element is I plus dI, where the current leaving the element is I. The difference in the current flows through the shunt admittance of the element. Now we have dI is equal to current through shunt admittance of element, which is equal to V into Y dH, where Y dH is the shunt admittance, and from this equation we have dI over dH is equal to V into Y. Next we have to differentiate this equation with respect to H, and we that d square B over dH square is equal to Z into dI over dH, and dI over dH is equal to Vy from this equation. Next we have d square B over dH square is equal to Y Z into V. Now this is a second order differential equation, and the solution of this differential equation is this equation, where V is equal to K1 cos hyperbolic into H into under root YZ plus K2 sin hyperbolic of H into under root YZ. Now we have to differentiate this equation with respect to H. Now we get K1 into under root yz, where yz is acting as a constant. Now the derivative of cos hyperbolic will be sine hyperbolic, and the derivative of this theta will be under root yz, where the derivative of x with respect to x will be 1. In the same way, the derivative of this quantity will be sine hyperbolic, derivative will be cos hyperbolic, and the derivative of this theta will be under root yz, where x derivative with respect to dx will be 1. Now we have dv over dx is equal to iz, and iz is equal to this equation. And from this equation, what we do, we take z to the right hand side, and the equation becomes as I is equal to under root y over z into this equation. Now to get the initial values, what we do, we just put x is equal to 0, so that v is equal to vr and I is equal to ir, where x is equal to 0 means that it is the receiving end. So at the receiving end, the voltage will be equal to vr and the current will be equal to ir. Now the equation will be vr is equal to k1 cos hyperbolic of 0 plus k2 sin hyperbolic of 0, which is equal to k1. We are doing this, we are putting this initial condition just to find out the unknown parameters of k1 and k2. Now from putting this x is equal to 0, we that vr is equal to k1. In the same way, when we put x is equal to 0, we have, when we put x is equal to 0, which means v is equal to vr and I is equal to ir in equation 5, we that means in this current equation, first we put this value in the voltage equation. Now we are putting this x is equal to 0 in this current equation. Now what we get from the current equation is I receiving end will be equal to this equation, where x is equal to 0 gives under root y over z into 0 plus k2, where sine hyperbolic of 0 is equal to 0 and cos hyperbolic of 0 is equal to 1, which gives k2 is equal to under root z over y into ir. Now we have, when we put the value of k1 and k2 in the equations of voltages and current, we have this resultant equation, v is equal to vr cos hyperbolic of x into under root yz plus under root z over y into ir sine hyperbolic of x under root yz. And in the same way, we have this current equation. Now the sending end voltage Vs and the sending end current are obtained when we put x is equal to L, where L is the entire length of line. In the start we have selected and distance x from the receiving end, and if we put x is equal to L, it means that we are considering the whole line from the receiving end to the sending end. Now these equations will be Vx is equal to Vr cos of L into under root yz plus z over y ir into sine hyperbolic L into under root yz. And in the same way, this current equation, the sending end current, and this will be the sending end voltages. Now this, the value which is in the angle of sine hyperbolic will be L into under root yz, where under root L into y into L into z will be equal to capital Y and capital Z, where L into y is the total admittance and L into Z is the total impedance of the line. In the same way, y over z is equal to y into L divided by z into L, means the total admittance and the total impedance of the line. And it is stated in these lines that y is the total shunt admittance of line and z is the total series impedance of line. And when we replace these two values in the voltage Vs and Is equations, we get these resultant equations, where Vs is equal to the receiving end voltage into cos hyperbolic under root y into z plus IR under root j into y sin hyperbolic of under root yz, and the sending end current will be VR into under root yz sin hyperbolic of under root yz plus IR cos hyperbolic under root yz. These are the two equations. You have to memorize these equations, and with these equations the long transmission line concludes. If you have any question, you can ask in the comments. Hope you have understood the topic, the long transmission line.